Hi, I'm Musik and you're watching Artist Life. Welcome to my studio. Have you ever wondered how the old master artists painted? What was it that they were trying to portray through their art? Well, today I'd like to talk to you in regards to how Henri Matisse might have painted. And please keep in mind that these are my thoughts and steps that I would take in order to reproduce or do an original in the style of Matisse. So, if you're ready, so am I. Let's start. Matisse was a French painter known for both his use of color and his fluid and original draftsmanship. But he is known primarily as a painter. Matisse is commonly regarded, along with Pablo Picasso, as one of the artists who best helped to define the revolutionary developments in the visual arts throughout the opening decades of the 20th century. The intense colorism of the works he painted between 1900 and 1905 brought him notoriety as one of the Fauves. Fauvism as a style began around 1900 and continued beyond 1910. The movement as such lasted only a few years and had 3 exhibitions. Now guys, if you could see, this is my still life that I went ahead and put in front of me. So this is what I'll be working from. Now on the left side of the screen, you'll actually see Matisse's painting. So what I want to do is I want to use the colors, the brush strokes that Matisse used, and apply it to my own painting. So with that said, the colors that I will be needing are as follows. So if you come over here, you'll actually see it. I need ultramarine blue. I also need Prussian. I need Viridian green. There. I need Cadmium Yellow. There. I also need Sienna, Cad Red Deep, Lizarin Red, right there, Ivory Black, and I need titanium white. Okay. Now, I'm also going to be using liquid. Okay. I will be using number 4 flat bristle brush, a number 2 flat bristle brush, and a detail brush. Okay. Alright, let me show you the canvas that I will be painting on. Well guys, as you can see, I've already drawn the image on the canvas. The size of the canvas is a 10 by 12. Now the original that Matisse painted on was 20 by 24. Okay, so as far as proportion wise, it's fairly the same. And let's start. Okay, so we have a few ways of starting this painting. I can go ahead and tint the entire canvas where I'm taking the paint and thinning it down with turpenoid and just scrubbing it over the entire canvas. That's one way. The other way is to leave it white and just directly paint over it, or I can go ahead and map out the colors. So this area is going to be ultramarine blue. This area is going to be Prussian blue mixed with Viridian and alizarin right there, alizarin crimson. Okay. We'll start with the ultramarine blue. As you can see, I have ultramarine blue right there. Now I am taking turpenoid just to thin it down. Okay, so as you could see, very liquidy. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up and right here is where I'm going to scrub this color. Okay. Now, I can leave the color like this if I want, or I can go ahead and rub it in. Okay, so that's ultramarine blue. Now, this area, this is going to be Prussian, so here's my Prussian blue right here with my Viridian right here. And if I thin it down, I'll get something like this, liquidy. And this area is going to be Prussian blue with Viridian. Okay, again. So as you can see, I'm just tinting it. Again, paper towel. Work that in. And also this area is going to be alizarin. Alizarin crimson, which is here. Same thing with terpenoid. Okay, right there. And this whole entire area is going to be with alizarin. Okay. Okay. Paper towel. Lock it in. Okay, so just go ahead and work it in like I'm doing right there. Okay, and then one more area. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Cad Yellow and mix it with this Prussian blue that I had, and also use a little bit of this red as a complement. Okay, so if you notice, I can just go ahead and mix all this in. I'm getting this shade of green if you notice. Okay, so with that, I'm going to scrub this area. Okay, that's supposed to be a little bit on the green side. If you notice the example that I have on my left side of the screen, okay, so that's kind of like what I'm getting. This is going to be like a little shadow area right there. And also, if you look at the original photo that's on the left side of the screen, you'll see that there's this little shade here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now I am ready to start applying thick paint. Okay, and I am using a little bit of liquid with this, and it's more direct, as you could see. It's a loose way of painting. So I'm using raw sienna along with my cadmium red, and just blocking in everything that you see here. Okay, very direct. Right there. Sketch this in. Now sometimes what he'll do is he'll desaturate the color, so I can go ahead and use a tad bit of black, and then let's put the handle in. right there. And the handle goes in the back. With that same color, there's a little shadow there. And shadow right there. I think in the original, he has the handle a little bit darker, and I could see why, and that's because of probably the lighting. So I'll go ahead and do that too. Just kind of like sketch that in. He would come in and just change things around. So there's my little color here. So I don't need to actually paint exactly like what I see there in front of me. Well guys, before I move on to the background, I want to complete painting in the still life objects, okay? So I am going to start with this cup. Okay. On the original, it is a white object. So on my setup, it's also white. Now, sometimes you can add a hint of blue, which will actually help. So in this case, that's what I'm going to do. First, I like to just refine my drawing if I can. So it's right there. Okay. Bring that out. All right, so all right, so on my setup, you have these little holes here. So I'll just hang on to them and possibly paint over them. Just grab a little bit of yellow ochre. Give it that dirty look. Okay, so right there. Just block this in. Okay, now let's take just a little bit of blue and start to apply these changes. There's some there. It's like it's stained on the glaze of that ceramic piece. So there. Okay. I actually like the directness, which means that I get to show off the brush strokes, as you can see. And I've noticed that in Matisse, because he's sketching more with a brush, you know, he's able to just put those changes in, right? All right, so like right there, there. Actually, that was Ultramarine Blue. Now I am going with the Prussian. There. All right, so yeah. Now circle there. Okay, so let's move on to the pear. Okay. Okay, so the light's coming from there. Just want to hold on to it, and then now this is going to be gray on this side, so let's go ahead and just block this in here. Okay. Bring that in. I like to work on the highlight, which is about right there. There. Now, let's move on to this other pair, which is about right there, okay? So, we'll start with the light tone, and then keep that in there. So, he's using bright colors. Okay. There, let's just bring a little bit of that uniformity right there also. There. And maybe right there. Okay. And let's bring that. Okay, so now let's move on to this tomato right there. Okay. Now if you notice, I am just applying paint, aren't I? So when you're applying the color, you want to just hold on to your drawing and also apply the shades of color as you see it. Okay, so right there, that's going to be the tomato. Okay, and grab that. Okay. Okay, so now let's start with this object here. Okay, so that's very direct. Just hold on to the drawing, block it in. Okay, very loosely. Right there. Okay, and then you have this handle which goes here. Okay, and also inside. Okay, and also inside the cup it's white. Bring that in. Like that. Okay. Two of the similar colors next to each other. So what I can do is I can take the black, okay, and possibly darken this one right there, okay, as I give some differences in the shades, and then the color in the back will show up, and then with that same color just apply this change right here to this cup, see, to make that object in the back work, if you notice, like right there. Okay, now, so I have raw sienna here in the back, so this is going to be the bread right there, and then I have this little lime way in the back right there, okay, and then I have grapes. So let's take those grapes and put those in. So here's one, here's another one, here's another one right there. Okay, so where else? Okay, there could be one right there. Well guys, before I start working on the background, I really wanted to talk to you about the temperature of the colors that we are going to be using for the background, whether it's warm or cool. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so if you notice on the color wheel, the warmest color is between yellow and orange. The coolest color is between purple and blue. So, but you do have variations of yellows and variations of blues and purples, which means that you'll have some purples that are warm, other purples that are cool. Okay, so if you notice on the background of my still life, I do have cools and warm colors. Okay, so for example, the ultramarine blue will be a cooler blue versus the Prussian blue and the Viridian that's mixed together, that will be warmer blue. Okay, so let's start. Let me show you how this works. Okay, so this area right here is all going to be blue, ultramarine blue. Again, it's warmer than the other side. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to also put alizarin, crimson, mixed with what I have. So right there is blue. Okay, while I'm doing this, why don't you just watch for a few minutes. I'll just be painting without speaking. Okay, so right behind this area, let's make it lighter. Okay, and then this is where the shadows will be. So let's add that same color right there. Bring some interest to it. And then let's say right here. Okay, and also take that and just introduce that in here. Okay, I'm going to just take the yellow and just create some highlights here with the yellow. And then with my big brush, just soften that. Okay, then I want to take the alizarin with my black and just apply that color for the shadow. Also here I can darken this just to separate one shadow from another. So there, let's keep that darker. Bring that here. And just kind of soften the edges between the shadows. There. And now we'll take this part, and also there is a shadow here for the tomato. So I am pretty much done with the objects, the background, the shadows. So now let's take a few minutes and refine it. Okay, so here we go with the detail. Now I'm taking Ultramarine Blue just to refine some of the edges here, as you could see. But I'm still keeping things very loose, aren't I? Just cleaning up the edges. Right there. Okay. And then just refine the circle. Now, as far as things being proportional or balanced, symmetrical on both sides, I don't really need to focus on that stuff because with the original, it's really not like so. He didn't really focus too much on that. Okay, so I don't want to focus on that either because it's going to take away from the likeness of Matisse. Okay, so there. Okay, so now next. So right here I have my mixture of paint is Viridian and Prussian, okay? So also right there. Well guys, that's it with this painting on Matisse. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do that. Subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, happy painting. Bye.